they're making their decision completely free of you.
By having that negative reaction, it's only going to harm or hinder your own mindset.
For there'll be more opportunities.
The universe has a way of protecting us in some regards. And I truly do believe that.
Bring it down a notch, simmer yourself, and think about the other person for a second. You're listening to the Apology Void podcast.
I feel like I want to say welcome back. Hi. Well, because for us, we were so organised, and it's been a couple of weeks since we recorded, but it doesn't really impact our listeners, does it?
No,
Anyway.
It doesn't impact our listeners at all, but it's been a solid month since you and I have recorded something, which is...
So, well, welcome back to us. Hello, everyone, again. Today, we're talking about plans changing or changing plans, whichever way you want to put it, and the roller coaster of things that go along with that.
Yeah. So in our last episode that we released, we talked about how the next one we would be recording together in person. And if you're watching this, you can tell that's not the case.
That is not the case.
We are still recording this.
I'm in my cupboard again. I'm still in my cupboard. You're in your living room. We are side by side, but we're not side by side.
Correct.
So some context. I didn't get over to see Katey in the end. Plans changed. Hence the topic of today. And that's okay. And we have just had a quick chat prior to starting the recording and said things often work out how they're meant to and how we've just navigated those changes, I guess.
Yeah. Life throws you curveballs and you just have to roll with them. You can't fight them. You had to be back home, and honestly, it worked out well for me too. No offense. I would have loved seeing you. There were just a lot of other things. Yeah, there were a lot of other things that happened that made it so I was like, oh, it's honestly really good that I have the space. So I was telling Sal, I had massive vestibular issues and a spat of vertigo that made it impossible for me to drive for a solid 5 and 6 days. I could not drive. I could not walk a straight line. So picking her up from the airport would have been an actual hazard to everyone on the road.
Including me, guys. Including me.
We would have risked our safety for that. So it just, there were a lot of things where it just ended up being for the best. And it's one of those things where there'll be more opportunities. There will be more opportunities to do things, and that's fine.
Not only that, not only had you planned to pick me up from the airport, we planned to drive back into the city, drive home, drive to the lakes. A lot of those days had many driving trips in them. So that would have all, not that I would have cared. I'm not saying... Because, again, that would have rolled into this same topic, right? So if I had have been able to come in the end anyway, our plans would have had to change while we were there, right?
Absolutely.
And that's about, generally in life, things will change. They can change drop of a hat. They can change over time. And it's about how we learn or how we choose to respond to those changes and how most people are change adverse. Right? But how we can learn to go, right, understand that change is always going to happen. Might not be for the best. That's fine also. But it's just how we work through that and acknowledge that that's going to happen and not let it just take over your whole life. Not let it ruin. Because, obviously I was bummed that I'm not coming, that I didn't come.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. Goes without saying. But we can't let that ruin. Just be like, oh, everything's against me. The world doesn't want me to do anything, blah, 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 blah. It's about how we respond to that, right? So I'm not going to let it ruin my whole year just because I didn't come to your place for a week. We can still talk on here and there will be more opportunities, as you said.
Yeah. Like, it's not the end of the world here for us. We have more chances to do things together, and that's great. Also, not gonna lie, the weather was not good, Sal. The weather was not good. So there would be other times.
Let's do a story. Let's just tell a little story about that, right? Off topic. But so before I was leaving, well, meant to be leaving, I messaged Katey and said, something about do I need a jumper? Do I need a jumper? Because I didn't realize that you didn't know what a jumper was. Anyway, long story short, here's me packing shorts, t-shirts. I did put in some, like, this is a jumper. So I put in like a jumper, but I didn't bring like big jackets. Because then he's like, oh, yeah, you probably need a sweater. I look up the temperature for my Aussie listeners, guys. It was like -2, top of like 12. And I'm like, hey, okay, hang on a minute. That's freezing. And you're like, oh, yeah, you might need a sweater. I'm like, might need. I need like a puffer jacket, a coat. I need a scarf. It's -2. Might need a sweater. Just anyway, off topic.
We didn't have a foot of snow on the ground. So, that's kind of my metric on how I gauge things. Is we didn't have snow on the ground, so it wasn't really like winter coat weather. We did have a tornado warning over this past weekend, though, like in the basement. Huddle yourself down there. The winds sounded like train whistle blowing.
No, that creeps me
So you could
out.
have experienced that, and I'm sad that you missed out
I'm so sad that I missed out on a tornado.
You missed tornadoes and April winter weather and massive changes where it changes 40 degrees in a day. Like, it was awesome.
It's a thing. So I think, looking back on the week, right? So you said, there was, getting back on topic, that things happened. So when I couldn't come, you obviously was sick, that was the whole thing, right? And the same happened for me. So I was home and I just had like thing after thing after thing, right? Just kept popping up. And I was like, shit, I really needed to be home to get that done. Like, I mean, as I said, I could have probably done things remotely. It would have been way more challenging, but I would have got it done. But I think in hindsight, right, the universe has a way of like protecting us in some regards. And I truly do believe that. And some things you may never know, like why. Like, so right now we can look at the circumstances and I feel like we're both on the same page that we know why I wasn't able to make it, right? We can look back, immediate reaction and go, okay, wow. But you may never know the reason that your plans changed.
Yeah.
And that's when I think those emotions of like disappointment and being upset and all of those things come into play, right? And not liking change because they result in something that you didn't want to do. It always result, I'm air quoting because that's not always the case, but you may not ever see that is what I'm saying. The plans changed. It was a way for protection, but you might not see the protection. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I know precisely what you mean.
Guys, I'm not articulating.
I know it's fine. I don't think that either of us are necessarily articulating well right now, but it's because life has just been a cluster.
And I wasn't even sick. I got home and I was so sick. I've been in bed for like 3 days.
Yeah. I woke up this morning and took like a heavy dose of Mucinex. So we're both probably like working at half power right now. But the universe really does work in our favor when we don't fight it. When we say, okay, I see you. I don't know why this is happening, but we're going to go with it. And it's not always pleasant stuff, but there are ways that we can help ourselves through those moments. And by understanding, I think the massive concept that change is the only constant there is. And so the more comfortable we can become with change, the better we can exist. That's really what I have tried to do over the past 8 years. Every single year for the past 8 years, my year has started with a major loss, a major change, a major shift that was unexpected and unplanned for, and I have literally just had to pivot and keep going. And you learn how to both grieve whatever your plans were and coexist with what they are now simultaneously. And when you learn to balance those two and, not even think too deeply about why things happened. Things are what they are. Not even thinking about why they happen, but what's ahead and what you can control versus what you can't can be a really helpful way to navigate change, like it has been for me. Just understanding what is within my power, what is within my grasp, and what I literally have zero control over. So I think that's my biggest way that I have worked through navigating a lot of really big changes and shifts. And yeah, Sal.
No, you're right. And it's very evident to me. So that comes across in our interactions. And I just want to, I guess, say that because when we, the change comes about, right? So I had to message you and be like, yo, can't come, da-da-da-da-da, right? Rather than there being silence, because your response could have been very different. And I also would have understood a different response, right? So rather than be silent, oh, how disappointing. Oh, wish you could come. Which again, completely understand. And that's coming from that place of not wanting the change. Also valid. Your response was just very level. It was I can't remember the exact words, but along the lines of all good, it is what it is, basically. We can't change that you can't come. Let's just roll with it. I know you didn't say those words because you didn't say that. But you get my drift, right? Well, without getting the message, I don't know what you said, but it was along those lines. And I think that was our bounce forward. And I did say to you, I'm bummed that I won't see you.
Yeah.
But I'm all good that that plans have changed. Does that make sense? And I think that is reflective of working through the response over time, learning how to navigate that change, as you said, is the only constant. Bit of an oxymoron then, because you're not constant, you're changing. But it's acknowledging that, it's accepting that. And I think that comes from, often, so my partner Nick is someone who really does not like change. He's really gets really funny, loves routine, loves being in the same thing all the time, thrives on it. However, over the last few years, we have been in a really adaptable, living arrangements, looking after different people's houses and different states and things. And we've actually had to do that because of circumstances. Our plans had to change. So you can see the difference in him, right, over the last 4 years because he's had to adapt. He's had to learn to navigate his response around change. While he still doesn't love it, it's completely different to 5 years ago. So it's that acceptance of knowing that things are moving and things are changing, and that by having that negative reaction to it isn't going to help it. It's only going to harm or hinder your own mindset or your own growth, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So thanks for your understanding. Side note. I feel that was a bit of I got distracted and I got back on topic and then I was off topic again. But thanks, because it was just so chill. There was no, I think, because sometimes I've got something else to say. Sorry. When things change, right, and we can see this in friendship groups, you say to someone you can't do something or something's come up and they get shitty. That just makes you feel bad because you've had to change the plans. They're now shitty. So there's this tension in the relationship. I'm just using this as an example, right? Because that's where we were. But it's completely different to show a level of understanding and go, you know what? Cool. That's absolutely fine. Do what you have to do in your life because this is happening. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a completely different dynamic, and it helps relationships. It helps friendships. It strengthens friendships, if nothing else. Don't be that person that's like, eh.
I
Side
have
note.
I've been on the passive aggressive receiving end. The receiving end of the passive aggressive message, or the I'm disappointed, or the well, I don't understand why, or why are you doing this right now, or I have received all of those, and when things are completely out of my control. And the biggest thing I think that's taught me how to respond to others is understanding how I would want to be responded to, especially like I have chronic illness stuff. I sometimes have to cancel plans because my body literally says, nope, you can't do this today. So I've gotten very used to having friends as well who have the same things, who have to be like, no, man, last minute, I have to cancel plans. I don't feel up for it. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You have to take care of yourself. And I think going about things with that grace and understanding, like the other person who's telling you they need to change plans, or that their plans have changed, or whatever, the other circumstance, the better you can just say, okay, that's fine. Like, they have to do them. So you do you. You control your response.
Yeah.
You do not need to add to whatever the situation is. They're making their decision completely free of you. And that's great. So I guess in my eyes, I responded to you the only way that I thought appropriate, which was, you have to do what's right for you.
Yeah.
And if that means going home, so be it, friend. That's great. Then I trust that judgment. I believe in that 100%. And understand that whatever this week is going to unfold like for me then is what it's supposed to be. And it ended up being chaos. So, like,
again, that hindsight. So just to clarify, I know this is a bit confusing because you're saying going home. So I did actually make it to the US, guys. I did actually make it. No, all good. Because I think that, just to clarify, just to make it confusing. So I did make it. I just couldn't stay. I had to come home. Just things happened at home. And I was like, shit, got to change my flight. Soz, won't be coming over to you. That was how that went. So just letting you know that when I say going home, hang on, I can plug my computer in. This is me with all my things not charged. And I just want to come back to the responding, right? Because I think this is a bit of an assumption, not fact, FYI. When we hear those, like in the receiving end of that passive aggressive message, etc., what you were saying, I think that's where the feeling of the guilt, the not so much shame, but like the guilt and the negative emotion around change comes from. So when we're telling people that things have to change and we automatically feel the guilt and automatically feel like, oh no, what's going to happen? I feel really bad. I'll go against what I need to do to please somebody else. That's because of the response that you've received over time.
Yep.
So it's about going, when you just put that line in and go, no, I'm doing this for me. I must do this for me. I must say, I can't catch up with you today because I'm not feeling well. I can't do this, etc. Rather than just doing it anyway against your own need, right, because of guilt, the people who are responding to you in that passive aggressive way, I don't really think are true friends.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there. So maybe it's about rethinking those, not saying ditch your friends, but rethinking those friendships, rather than going against your own needs, because that's only going to destroy your own self-esteem, your self-belief. It's going to destroy your own worth because you're living for other people because you're worried about their response. But we are conditioned, because that's more common a response, the guilt, etc., than all good. You do you, understand.
If I were to have a negative reaction and been like, well, I don't get it, I think you need to be here, it would have made both of us feel shitty, and either made you want to change your plans, which would have made us both feel miserable with you here just because of circumstance, and or would have made us both feel shitty with you being home. Either way, you end up shitty. Like, you know what I mean?
End up shitty.
It is. So the people-pleasing piece of it really hurts my heart, and is why I try to respond to people with grace and empathy, as opposed to what my initial emotion or reaction might be even. Like, y'all, you can't see my hands if you're not watching this, but like, bring it down a notch, simmer yourself, and think about the other person for a second. If you both have been excited about plans and someone's canceling on you, there has to be a good reason why. And it is not your right to know that reason why up front. You just have to trust that they are making the best decision for them, no matter what is going on. It's not anyone's responsibility to tell you all the details all the time. So, I'm a recovering people pleaser. I have always been the one who wants to modify and manage everyone else's emotions by doing what I think they need, rather than listening to myself and what I need. And it has only caused more grief and strife for everyone, and for other people to not get to know who I really am. Instead, they get to know like a very polished mask. And so letting that go, understanding that I can support my own needs in a healthy way, has led me to some of the best, most fantastic relationships and beautiful friendships with people. So I guess to bring that all into like this topic, know that you can change plans. And if the people who are in your life do not respond appropriately, that isn't on you. That's not about you. That's about them and their lack of emotional intelligence and development. That's really what it is. That is all them. That is not you. We've talked about it in past episodes. Other people's responses inform you as to who they really are. So you should always feel powerful in canceling plans, in changing your mind, in making decisions, because you always have the right to do that. End scene.
End scene. And just on that, I just want to touch on the response that we have. So when we talk about changing plans, that doesn't always involve other people as well. So I just want to touch about those plans that might change in your own world. You know, so things change. Yeah. Like, it's a good one, right? Because both equally as relevant is what I'm trying to say there. But when plans change in your own world, notice your response to that. So when it's introspective, right, you have your response is your response to yourself, which sounds like you're going crazy, but it isn't. Notice the response, your visceral reaction, your mindset when something changes, because that's likely how you will feel when other people change things. So that's a really good place to reflect and go, okay, I'm annoyed at this change that's happening, or I'm at ease with this change that's happening. I'm okay with it, or I'm pissed off. Do you know, like, so notice those things in your own world too, so you can switch that, so you can give that out to the world when other people change plans on you. End scene.
I'm like trying to hold in a laugh over here because I'm feeling a little called out right now. I feel like I'm so good. I'm so good at understanding other people's changes, but so bad at doing that for myself.
Right, though.
And so it's like a
Legit.
practice. It's a practice that I have had to work on time and time and time again, because my plans personally change all of the time. Like today, I was not feeling good when I woke up, and the things that I had planned for today had to go out the window. We had to cut it down from this exciting day to these few things. Like, what can we actually do, and manage my energy very specifically. And that's been a very big thing that I've been working on personally over this last year, is how do I show myself grace and acceptance and love when things have to change in my personal world that maybe I don't want to, or I don't want to accept. So I feel like that is a practice. And if you have to start by practicing with others, okay, that's cool. And then bring it home. We're working on it, Sal. I'm working to show myself the
You're
same
doing
love
it
and grace.
well, hats off to you for responding to others with grace when you can't respond to yourself. Maybe it's easier to do it the other way. Maybe it's easier to respond to others with understanding than it is to respond to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe flip
Very
it.
much.
Start
Very
with
much
others.
for
Don't
me.
start with yourself. And you know what? Probably same. Because I must admit, like, if my friends text me, like, I'm not coming out tonight because I just can't be bothered, I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. Like, I don't need a story. I don't need you to make up a story about how your cats ate the wrong food. It was supposed to eat dry food and now it needs a bath because I don't know. I don't care. Like, I'm not interested. You're lying. Just say I don't want to come, and I'm fine with that. Like, I'm genuinely okay with that, right? But I must admit, when things change myself, I'm like, God damn it. No. Yeah, so I maybe reverse it. Don't do what I said. Practice on other people first. And
Yeah,
then
maybe we
practice on
need to
yourself.
practice. Well, that's part of how I practice loving myself, is by complimenting other people randomly out in public. I would like compliment them and be like, okay, if you can compliment them, you can compliment yourself. And so I feel like it's a good practice where if you're struggling to give yourself something, try giving it to other people, and then say to yourself, if you can give this to other people, let's try doing this at home, kid. Let's bring it on home. Let's do the things here. So it's harder than it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But we're working on it.
Like always, we say this all the time. Absolutely not perfect over here. Like, plans change. I get bummed. I get down in the dumps, mainly for my own plans, not other people's that have to change. I'm fine. But it's like, just practice. Just work on it. It's fine. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. But just know things are always going to change in this world.
Always.
We just got to roll with it. And be graceful.
Yeah.
Be humble.
Be
all
humble.
The things.
Or be nothing.
Be nothing. We've derailed. Guys, we've derailed. So you're going to have to wait another whole year until you see us in the same room together. I'm just saying.
You just never know, man.
I'm coming next year. But
maybe I end up booking like a major gig over in Australia.
Oh, please do.
You never know. Maybe I'll see you
Never
sooner. Because life changes. Wow, 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 wow. On that note, we'll talk soon, Sal.
Ciao.
Okay, bye.